getting back to that artist you mentioned, there was this Chinese artist that had a 150 million market cap, for example. You talked about them going digital, and they did that, I think, with you. Can you talk about how an artist that's very successful in the traditional world would then go into Web3? And there's also some pitfalls potentially there as well. And that's that's a part of your business, I think, is bringing those people online. And I was wondering if you could tell people a bit about that, because it's very interesting, and you know it better than anyone that I know.
Yeah, I like to think about it from the point of view of the artist. And I think that's probably the best way, because especially when we talk about the pitfalls. So imagine that you are an artist like this with a huge market cap, right? 150 million, that's your market. So you have a $150 million market, and you are still creating work and you're selling into that market. There are certain price levels in your market. So the last thing you want to do is to do something that will damage your market. Because now, if you damage your market and it goes down by half, next day you produce an artwork, it will be worth half of what it was before that. That will be really, really bad. You don't want to do that.
Right, because that piece of art will be worth a half, but then when he goes to LiveArt, all of his art will be marked to market down, and his market cap will go down to 75.
We don't want to think about it. We don't that should not happen. That never happens. We don't want to happen, right? So if you don't want it to happen, and yet the artist wants to do something different, like for instance enter Web3, how do we make sure that it doesn't happen? That this Web3, that the entrance into Web3 extends the artist's market incrementally, rather than in any way damaging it. So, like, if you're an artist, this is what's going through your mind. Not like, oh, I'd like to experiment with some digital. Yeah, sure, artists love to experiment, and they love new media, and they love to do innovative things. Of course they do. But first and foremost, let's make sure it doesn't damage my existing market. Right? When you're an artist at that level, this is kind of how you think about it. So, therefore, failure is not an option, right? If you enter Web3, you have to enter it properly, right? You have to enter it in a way that extends the existing market and doesn't damage it. So, the methodology that we use with artists of this caliber is that we think of a digital edition, be that NFT or ordinals on the Bitcoin chain, and whatever the format may be, digital edition on a blockchain, as an extension of their print market. So every artist usually has a market for their unique paintings, for prints, and potentially other media, sculptures, whatever else they work in. So if there is an edition of, say, ordinals or NFTs, an edition of 1,000, you can probably most closely, and it's a generative edition, meaning that every single one is different, it's unique. So you can most directly compare it to a print edition in the let's call it legacy art market. Okay. A print edition of also 1,000.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.
And it's not exactly one-to-one correspondence, because the print edition is, every print is the same, except for the condition and other things, but more or less the same. Whereas in the digital on-chain world, usually it would be different, because it would be generative edition, everyone is different, so it would be like a different format. But more or less, they would be comparable. So you would like the prices to more or less correspond from here to here, right? Basically, with this, for the same edition size and other parameters. So that's one. So the pricing, it has to be properly priced. Number two, it has to be offered ideally to a new audience that is incremental to the existing audience, so that it doesn't cannibalize the existing market, the existing audience, the existing economics of that artist. That audience is plentiful and eager in Web3 to receive new interesting things, especially by brand name artists whose works they already may have seen in museums, because in the case of Yoo Min-joon, it's like all museums around the world, like this imagery, this iconic imagery that this artist has given to the world is quite universally recognizable. So those newcomers now have the ability to own a piece of it, which they would not be able to do in the legacy art market, right? Because they don't have access to it, but in the digital they do. So that's two, incremental. So basically, let's enumerate it again. Number one, artists like to experiment with new media. It's just a joy for every artist. Number two, they want to make sure that the pricing in the digital medium and in the legacy art market are consistent. And number three, that the audience is incremental, right? Incremental to the existing user base or existing collector base. So these are some of the ideas, some of the main ideas for how to properly bring an artist to market in Web3. But then then there are some technical questions. Which chain? Because there are so many different chains, right? In what format? What should be the edition size? And so on and so forth. So what we like to do, and let's just go back to the same case of Yoo Min-joon. What we like to do is we like to develop the journey of an artist as the artist enters this new space. So with Yoo Min-joon, first we did an NFT edition. So it was kind of like PFP-esque. It was very accessible. It was very, it was sort of iconic because it used the iconic imagery of that artist. And that was his first entry. Now at this point, he got an audience, right? So the audience of tens of thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands that have been exposed to it, and 1,000 of them were the lucky owners of the artworks. Then we thought, all right, we did other projects, other artists, and then that community, Yoo Min-joon's new digital community, came back and said, well, actually, we would like a print. We would like to have a print of our NFT to, put on the wall. That was completely unexpected, right? Yeah. We thought this was a digital community, completely, in no way connected to anything physical. But here they were. And so about a quarter of them wanted to have prints. So we went back to the artist and said, all right, how about we actually do a print edition? He said, fine, as long as it is priced in line with my print market, because I cannot damage my existing market.
Right.
So we did that, and then about a quarter of the NFT buyers bought the prints. So that was the second. Now we have, an even more expanded footprint of this artist within this now crossover Web2, Web3 community.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.